to all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is the Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I'm a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house, where I live. And it has not been quiet today, and I know why. Because it's the last Monday of the month and the first Happy Medium Monday of 2023. How cool is that? So, real quick, if there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz, and anything you want to know about us is there. But without further ado, I would like to bring on my very special co-host, live from Cape Cod, Cape Cod's only live on air psychic medium radio personality, the happy medium herself, the one and only Susan Ahern. Hello, Susan. You are muted by accident. Do you have a mute button? There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
I can still hear you, but you can't hear me, which I wish that worked the other way because sometimes I'd like to mute you.
Then you would have to do your readings by sign language.
Right? Oh my God.
What did I want to say to you real quick other than I missed you? I'm probably going to ask you a couple of questions. I want to catch up with you. I didn't
Right?
get time to catch up with you when you were on a couple of weeks ago with Frank. So I'll do that. But let me let everybody know what the rules are here real quick. They're pretty simple. No conjuring. You're not going to conjure any spirits for anybody. You have your spirit posse that's there delivering you messages.
Mhm.
And if you get a specific message that you need to put out there to anybody, you would do that. But tonight's just readings. So everybody, if you've tuned in live and you want a free psychic reading from Susan, you got to type it into the chat room. Susan will read it and she'll give you your reading. But no asking, can you please conjure my such and such friend who recently passed on, or such and such relative who's recently passed on, see if they're okay and if they have a message for me. Because that takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, and that's a whole different kind of conjuring than just her doing her psychic reading. So ask about love, job, travel, health, um, things like that, and that is right in her wheelhouse. But like all of a sudden, it got really cold in here. Is my dream catcher
Do,
spinning?
do, do, do.
No, my dream
No,
catcher's not spinning, huh?
no, not yet. Not yet. It usually does.
And what's going on? Your screen kind of went in and out real quick before we
Um,
went live. Do you have any activity going on in your
I haven't
office
heard
tonight?
anything, but it felt odd when I was walked in here and I couldn't get into the office. So my son-in-law, John, he had to come over and do the keypad for me. I'm like, oh, here it starts. It does. It always starts for us. It's so funny. I don't know why.
What about the weather? What's the weather like there now?
It's really lovely. New England is the new Florida, I think. It's 50 today with the sun was out, although
Oh,
um, it just feels warm, but we're gonna get walloped this weekend. So
uh-oh.
it was nice while it lasted. So I had a really cool thing. Hi, Sharon. Um, so I was doing table tipping last 2 weeks ago. So I had one last week. I had a private party, which was lovely, and it was so healing. It was just amazing for the participants and myself. But the week before that, um, there was 4 people and then myself. And before I start, I plug my phone into like an external speaker. And at some point, my phone went dead. About 40 minutes into the table tipping session, um, this the girl sitting next to me, we're talking to her dad on table. He's in spirit. He comes through. She's very happy. Then they're the two of them are talking, and um, all of a sudden, the speaker which it was just my phone. So it's not like it was a radio station or anything. It wasn't like there was no white noise. It just shut off. So all of a sudden this woman's voice comes on really loud. Like, like when you're watching TV and the commercial bounces on, it's like, "Puh," and it's usually loud and it kind of startles you. It was the same thing. So this woman's voice startles us, and we know we're the only 5 people in the building. So all of a sudden this sixth person comes barreling through, really jovial, very happy. Happy New Year. And we all just went, "What?" Like looked over to the speaker, and we all looked at each other like, did we just hear that? Because we were kind of in a trance state. I mean, I know I'm getting in a trance state, but we were having this conversation. Even the table stopped. Like, who was that? And then she kind of awkwardly was like, paused, and then was like, "Oh, I just wanted to say hi and Happy New Year." And then off she went. I've never had a radio speaker, just a speaker, it wasn't even a radio, just a speaker system, be taken over by the most clearest communication ever. I've never had that ever happen.
Wow.
So, Susan, exactly what is table tipping? I mean, I used to do that a lot when I was a drinker, but
And you still, I understand, Zach, from talking to Adrian, you still do that at the dinner table.
Oh yeah, well that's just because
at
when I
feeding
get out,
time.
my gut knocks it over. Yeah.
Stop. So
So-
table tipping is an old Victorian physical mediumship, a form of physical mediumship. So I have an old Victorian table. It's like this big, enough that 5 people can sit around it, and it has 3 legs, and the energy from the spirit moves through onto table, and the table starts tipping slowly out
Are you
messages.
guys touching hands like a
No,
traditional seance or Ouija
we're
board?
lightly, we lightly have our hands on the table, like it's up, so it's not like we're doing this, or anything like that. You're just Our hands are lightly on the table.
So it's your hands or something, and please, I know that this is probably
Yeah,
a bad example, but like how you're supposed to touch a Ouija, the thing on the Ouija board
yeah,
lightly,
hmm yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Remember, like
okay.
when you were learning how to type, and they were like, "Okay, just kind of bounce your fingers lightly on the top." That's kind of like
Yeah, you mean like I still do?
boink, 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 boink. Yeah, exactly.
So you
So yeah,
you
that's
have to
exactly.
hunt and peck when you got kielbasa sausages for fingers. You,
Kielbasa sounds
you
really
hit a button and like 3 letters come out, so it's pretty
good.
bad. But okay, well, thank you for that.
No, I'm glad that you said that, because I'm just assume,
Well,
and
they
I
were
should.
talking about Adrian and one of her friends were talking about doing that, and I'm like,
Mhm.
my first response was, "How much are we drinking on this night, my dear?" Because I really didn't know, and then come to find out it actually had something to do with the paranormal, and I'm like going, "Okay, well that's pretty scary, but all right." So now I know what. Now next time she says it, I can at least have a little bit of a clue. So
Yeah, right. Right. So what ends up happening is that we all relinquish our energetic form so that they can come through and use table. I put up safety nets and all sorts of prayers and call on some amazing people to come and be present in the spirit realm so that there's no shenanigans that happens. It's a very spiritual, the way I do it is very spiritual, and we get the best people that come to table. You'd be so amazed. It's really cool, and healing takes place. It's pretty profound.
So
So
then, is it easier for a let's say vindictive spirit to make it through that way, or is that what you mean by guarded?
yeah, well, it's just like a Ouija board in the sense that you're opening up a portal, and if you don't know what you're
Okay.
doing, you could be opening it up to anything. And I don't feel that a Ouija board has the safety stops um, that table does, because there's definite connection where there's just a lot of there's a lot of gray area with a Ouija board where I've created this energy with table, there isn't. And so we go through the alphabet. It taps out and taps A, B, C, D. It takes a long time. It can be, if your
I've
name's
actually seen
Zelda.
that. I've seen that method done before, and I think that method is really pretty cool. I think that's really intriguing, and I think that's one of them that I don't sit there. And me being the pessimist that I am, a lot of times I see that one, and I'm kind of like going, okay, no, wait a minute here. You got that one that does all the stick figures, that one machine that does the stick figures, and I'm sitting there going, how come every spirit dances? Because they're all dancing.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, they're happy. So, but
if we put that machine on, the camera behind me, that tripod would look like a person. So you're like, yeah, it is tricky. But if you have nothing there and all of a sudden a figure starts dancing, then we've got problems.
Well, where are your cat balls?
I forgot my cat balls.
Oh, no cat balls tonight.
No cat balls tonight.
Well, I got plenty of them outside, but they'll be hard to catch.
Right? Those little fur balls. So anyway, so she comes across really, really strong. And then and my scientific brain goes, okay, I need answers. So I need to break this down. I need to know how this happened and what's happening. And then it just throws the whole spirit box thing right out of the water, because we thought that you needed white noise for them to come through. She didn't have any white noise. She was waltzed in like nobody's business.
Wow.
And the funny part was, excuse me, the girl on the table that was talking to her dad was like, she was like thinking, who's this girl, Dad? And, he was married, his wife and both of them are on the other side. And he was like, she's not with me. So here he is, even in spirit, getting in trouble for some cute young girl bouncing through. And he's like, she's not with me. I don't know. It was so funny. So even he in spirit was like, interrupted. He kind of paused and was like, who's she? And he's like, I don't know. Don't ask me, It was just really interesting. There was a whole bunch of new stuff that I had never seen. And it brings up a lot of questions now. So then I'm like, well, why are we going through this whole table tipping silliness if you can just talk to me right through the speaker?
I'm going to ask you a couple of weird questions here, only because you mentioned them.
Okay.
You threw the two words out. You threw out the word Ouija.
Zach did that. That was not me. That was Zach.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Zach.
We'll share the responsibility of whatever's coming next, Zach.
And I should have sent him a picture of this, but I don't want to give this company any more advertising than.
No, do not.
But have you seen the new Jesus Ouija board?
Jesus Ouija? No.
Yeah, it's to contact Jesus.
Oh.
I'll send you a picture of it.
Really?
Yeah, I just wanted to. Now that the word was thrown out there, I think I ought to just tell people. I mean,
dude, I have had some
pretty. You're not talking to Jesus on this Jesus
on the Ouija.
Yeah,
no,
it's got
but
his
I've had
picture
some
there, and it's got a bunch of scripture. And it's got the planchette, and you are supposed to be contacting Jesus.
Wow.
And, yeah, I thought just when you think you've seen it all.
Did we ever tell you that we went to Denver and we found the tombstone of the lady that the Ouija board is named after?
Oh, really? How cool is that?
Yeah. And it was so weird because there was a plot that we couldn't find her at first. We were hunting and hunting and hunting, and we couldn't find her. And then all of a sudden I saw this really cool tombstone over on my side. And then Adrian bolts out of the car. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, okay. And I was possessed to stop to check out. It was the first governor of Colorado. And then right over there was her thing with all of the, and just decorated like a Ouija board.
Wow.
Her tomb. It's really pretty cool.
Wow.
So
very, very cool. Very, very cool. So I guess I have to ask you. You mentioned I did hear the word trance. And I also heard the word physical mediumship. And two things come to mind. I think, I don't know, you can tell me what you're feeling. You can share with me your true feelings if you want to on this. I think if you were to really let go and let loose, I think you would probably be a pretty incredible trance medium, for one. And two, the physical mediumship. I was just watching an old documentary about at the height of the spiritualist movement back in the day, when you had all these mediums that would, many of the photos were faked, but many really affluent people in the communities that wouldn't just come out and lie witness these things and say some of it is real. You know, these mediums that project this ectoplasm out of their nostrils or their mouths,
Right.
or get, like you're talking about the table tipping, some of these table tipping sessions, they would actually get the table to levitate.
Hmm.
Um, Talk to me about your thoughts on trance. I've seen, I one time had a really gifted trance medium on my radio show back in the day. And when this gentleman came through to talk, I mean, her face physically
Hmm.
changed into this gentleman. And
That's
here's this, mild mannered, meek little woman who now
mhm.
is talking like, a drunken sailor. But he wasn't drunk, but it's just this
Right.
deep, gnarly man's voice.
Hmm.
Um, pretty believable, and I trust her, and I believe she's been doing this all her life. So your thoughts on trance mediumship and all of the stigma behind some of the physical mediumship back in like the height of the spiritualist movement?
Um, all right, so we'll go back to the movement. Yeah. So the interesting part of that is that most of the trans mediums um, got very sick and lived not very long lives.
Really?
Yes. So they did take a toll on their physical body to do it.
Wow.
And when I do, hi, Kelly. Thanks for bopping in. Um, so I do go into trance, and sometimes people will come through, and they did say that the last time I did it, that my voice changed. It did start to change and it sounded different. Now, what that meant, because I, it's a trust thing. I have trust issues. I admit it on radio and on air. I'm not going to trust anybody just to come in and hijack my energy. I have to trust them, and it has to be a working relationship for me to. So what I end up having to do is I have to step back so that they can come forward. And I also have to, depending on who it is, I have to find their frequency and they have to find mine so that they can use my vocal cords.
Are you reading that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that support, cuz yeah, I think so. For someone to be able to hijack. Now, my thought is, well, what if they don't want to go back? What if they come forward and we have this, this struggle? And I haven't been able to find a teacher to show me how to do it correctly. There is somebody. Um, oh, are you a medium? Oh, that's nice. That is cool. Thank you for coming through. You'll have to have a question. It's so nice to talk to other mediums. Um, so I haven't found the right teacher yet to be able to help me um, be able to feel comfortable enough to be able to relinquish that control.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, and you and I. This happens to you and I a lot when we do this show. That we get a little psychically in sync, and you always
Mhm.
start answering questions I'm just about to ask you that haven't even asked yet.
Oh,
And I was going to tell you that that's exactly what this woman talked about. This gentleman that came through, she growing up had no control over it and was constantly getting jumped by spirit a lot, and she wasn't getting well, I guess you could call it a form of possession.
Mhm.
Nothing demonic, but spirits were
Um,
always jumping in her
yeah.
to speak,
Mhm.
to pass on messages, whatever. And it got to the point where it was getting scary. So what happened was this spirit gentleman approached her, and she developed a relationship with him. And he said that he would, on the other side, if she allowed him to be uh, the one and only spirit that came through in her trance sessions and spoke to whoever that was present, that he would protect her from all of the other inconsiderate jumping spirits.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Um, and she grew to have this great trust with him, and he's the only one that comes through for the past 30 years.
Wow.
Um, and so I found that very, very cool. Now you talk about you would be afraid if someone didn't leave. It's like in this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but in terms of demonic possession, we find that um, the longer the possession takes place,
Mhm.
it's so low vibrational and so nasty and evil, these entities, that the longer they remain in the human host starts to decay
Mhm.
and, in sense, uh, kind of start rot away.
Mhm.
So they can't stay very long. Either the person gets exorcised or the person dies.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if do you believe a spirit, a regular disembodied human spirit, would have that, no matter how strong they are in the spirit world? Do you think one could have that type of ability to take over the person's body and stay if they allowed it to come in?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I
Really?
think that that's what you're seeing in um, incarceration and in jail cells and, like in prisons. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing a lot of entity attachment.
Wow.
That darkness that you've seen it,
But I
that.
mean, like, let's say if you channeled somebody tonight who
Oh,
was
oh,
a
okay.
friendly spirit, like the woman that yelled
Hmm.
"Happy New Year,"
Hmm.
and she got in there, and let's even say this spirit said, "Wow, I forgot how lovely it was to be alive. I'm going to stay for a while." Do you think a disembodied human spirit would have that kind of power over a human body to just to stay?
Yeah, because
Really?
you're looking at. So what is we have to look at the original host. Where's the host? Is the host in health? Are they healthy physically, mentally, spiritually? If there's any gray area in any of those three compartments, then you're going to have an issue. You're going to have someone that could walk in and kind of hang out. Because
Wow.
if I'm out of my head doing crack and there's nothing I've got no boundaries, right? Because that's a huge boundary issue. Um, then they can stay. As long as I'm out of my mind, they're going, I'm going to hang out here then, especially if it's another dead crackhead. They're going to love that energy. They're going to like that. They're going to get high off of your highs. So they're going to stay as long as they can. And they're even going to get you to Jones even more so that you can do more. They're going to want to keep your addiction flowing.
Um, your friend's back.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's a beautiful name, Farida. I don't know if I'm butchering it or not, but
Right. Oh, yeah, it is very beautiful.
can you read that okay?
Hmm. Thank you for what you do. I'd love to know if anything comes through about my work as a medium and the focus they would like me to do. Well, let me throw some cards. We'll get some cards going if that's okay. Oops, and we've got two flipped over already.
Whoa.
All right. So the warrior is this is your path in life. And you know this. This is your path, and it's very serious. You take this very seriously. And then the uprooted tree. This is more of money. And I'm going to pull the third card just because. Oh, and it will all flow towards you. You like to have information. You always like to keep learning and learning and learning because you think that you don't know enough. which I think I like that thirst for knowledge too. But you've got it. All you need to do is just let it flow. And this is everything coming to you. This is the water. Water's cleansing. It's very purifying. Um, just be really careful. You open yourself up to heal everyone or many, and you can't do that. You have to just say, I can only help a certain amount of people. I know I can't heal the world, because that's what we want to do, and you can't. Just send me the people that I can heal and help, and then that will narrow it down. It's, see how it's narrowing down. So it's going to narrow that down to just the people along your path, because you get very um, distracted by being over here and being over there, and oh, I can do. In this time, we are in a place of lead by example. And so we're not supposed to do it anymore from others. We've done that already. We've lived that. And now we're just supposed to lead by example. And so that's more of our path. And then those who in the narrowing down of who you reach, you're going to get those that are in a higher vibration, and they'll be so much easier to work with, because they'll be able to hear the messages quicker, and it won't be so taxing on your physical body. And that's important, because we get tired fast. So thank you. Yeah. So funny.
This is another weird question. Who do you go to when do you read yourself, or do
Oh,
you
I
have a
can't.
someone that you love that's gifted that you go to for your readings? Or
Like, I just talk right to my guides. I just go to, oh, sorry. I go to my people, because they tell me everything that I need to know or where to go. And if it isn't right there, then it's not coming. So I can ask, but it's not gonna show up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not gonna. So I just trust. I just trust that what they are telling me, and they've never strayed me. They've always been dead on. So as long as I can listen to them and stay with that, I'm fine.
well, let's talk about physical mediumship and the table tipping, and there's even a fair amount of physical mediumship going on when you're moving that planchette on the Ouija board. But I want to talk about you've got some really gifted psychic mediums that are really strong physical mediums. And they say that they have to be careful when they channel, because the spirit can use whatever that gift is that they have to then go ahead and start doing really moving things and throwing things and picking things up. But it's through that they're using whatever they're using through that physical medium to do these things. So when you're at the table and you're making it move, what do you believe is that? Does it matter if you have gifted people around the table? And if you had, let's say, four gifted psychic
Mhm.
mediums, some trance, some physical, around a table, would the table tipping be much more, much more going on, rather than if you just had three or four regular folk that, whether they're gifted or not, they don't know they are, but if they do know
Mhm.
that they are, they don't really want to use it because it scares them. Is there a
Right.
difference there?
There is. There is. There's a big difference. So if you've been to table before, you kind of get the gist of it. So fear holds the table down. So if they're new people and they're a little nervous or a little afraid or apprehensive, that'll hold the table down, and it takes longer to get it to move. But if I've been with people that have done table before, or even some of my students, the table goes flying. I mean, it's zoom, zoom, it's all over the place. So yeah, and it can turn right around. Sometimes it goes right upside down.
Wow,
So
that's crazy.
it is. It's really is cool. So can tell when someone's afraid. So I'll say, I just have them take their hands off, just to get the table started, so they can see what it looks like. But you can feel that you can feel the energy coming up under the table. Um, some people say that the table feels watery or like wiggly or jello. Sometimes the energy comes through your hands, and so it comes down your arms, and so your hands kind of get cramped a little bit. um but often you'll feel someone put, their hand on your shoulder, or you can tell that someone's standing next to you or behind you. Your guides are always there. The room gets very full, so the room changes, the energy in the room changes, and it's just really beautiful. Some amazing saints come through. It's a great healing opportunity for anybody that's looking for that, and that connection to their loved ones is very healing. So
What if how do you keep people okay, because let's and this would be coming from me, if you were to say contact my grandfather, and I'm sitting at a table with you, and you were able to contact my grandfather, either one of them, who are big influences in everything that I do every day,
mhm.
and something and they would say something that would be, well, let's be honest here, for me it would just be shocking, and I would just be, how do you keep people from really losing it and freaking out that they're, oh my god, this is real, this is
Mhm.
happening? How do you control people, and does that mess up anything in that, anything that
Right.
you're doing?
So I don't know what your grandfather's name is. So when it comes across as, someone's here for Zach, okay. Because usually I'll ask, who are you here for? And the table goes right over to Zach. It's really cool. And I'm like, are you here for Zach? And they go, boom, yes.
That happens when there's blueberry pie on a table,
Or cobbler. Yeah, I
or
heard it.
cobbler, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that
So,
happens.
or
Winter.
turkey,
It's
That's
or
very,
winter.
very cool.
food.
So then I will say, well, who is this that is here for Zach? And if it taps out your grandfather's nickname, that's even better. So they like to go for the money shots, because they wanna go, hey, it's me. They don't want to waste time going, oh, they go boom. And then that usually it opens up this amazing um love filled, joy filled energy that you feel right on the table, and you can feel it. And they're here. It's like them giving you a hug. You can actually, they get that moment. I hold that space for them and for you so that you can have this moment. And it's fantastic. And without a doubt that that's who it is, because
Yeah.
you
Well,
feel it. Like,
look,
I
if
don't know who it is. I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
if it was one of
right.
my grandfathers and he typed out his what everybody called him,
Yep.
there would be no doubt in my mind it would be him, because it's a name that you don't.
I couldn't make it up. Right.
Right,
Right.
right, yeah, yeah. You
And
could
I'd
you could
have
make
to,
up you could make up
I'd be,
1,000 names and you would not get this name.
right.
My
Right.
other grandfather, it's a pretty normal name, but
Mhm.
yeah, we've got another one here from Ward.
Hi,
Uh,
Ward.
it looks like we've got us a lot of mediums joining us tonight.
Oh, good. Love that. Okay, so sometimes word channels at night, energy in my body, I can feel it move my body. Yeah, I bet. And I wonder, Ward, if you're that sensitive to vibration, um, vibroacoustic healing would be very good for you to heal yourself through vibration. But I bet if you live, well, I bet you can feel earthquakes. So be really prepared for that, because as we're moving forward in this year, we're going to be experiencing a lot more earthquakes. Just so everybody, where everybody's living, I don't know, but um, I can feel them. We're getting more earthquakes in New England. We've never had them. I mean, we've
Yeah.
had them, but like once in a blue moon. So we've been having a lot over here, and it's interesting. So um, yeah, it's cool, but it is amazing when you can feel that almost like levitation, like your body just seems to feel like it's lighter. um I can get dizzy a lot, and I think it's just because the energy or an energy wave is just kind of moving through me, and I'm just like, ooh, oh, what was that? Now it could have been an energy of somebody. Those feel different, but sometimes you just get this kind of zapping, a woo feeling. It could be the change in the Schumann resonance. It could be. I read something that said that the core of the Earth was stopping.
Hmm.
it usually rotates, and I guess it does this every 70 to 100 years or something like that, and that it was slowing down or stopping. And so that's got to be, I mean, it just got to be
Yeah.
crazy because our energy is feeling that. And if it, then they say it stops and it goes in the other direction, that's got to mess everything up. That's almost like a planet going in retrograde. I feel the channeling happening before it happens, like 10 minutes before. My heart and breath is actually different. Yeah, so I could yeah, that's really cool. So for you, Ward, do you have a safety in place for you? A power, a prayer of protection or something? Do you use something like that? And we want I always think like he can answer me. I don't know why.
He will. He'll
I
type
mean,
it
he
in here in
can,
a
but I
second.
mean, I'm so used to doing it on live, so it's so hard. But yeah, I'd love to hear what other people do for their power protection.
Yeah, while we're waiting for Ward's answer, here's
Mhm.
Farida coming back in. She
Oh,
had
good.
another question for you. Oh, and Ward, just a second, Farida. Ward answered no. I do
Mm.
not. I don't do that yet.
Okay. So maybe that would be something good because it's like a boundary. It's a boundary that you would have if you were going on a first date with somebody, right? Like you would have that, or I would hope you would set up boundaries to say, okay, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. I'm willing to do this, but I'm not willing to do that. That all has to kind of be in place. So that way, then you don't lose your sense of self because it's very easy to do that as well. Because all of a sudden it could just start going and you could be astral traveling, you could be channeling ET peoples, you could be just all of a sudden it just kind of takes off. Um, and there's many different ways to create those. And it just is, it can be very simple. And that is perfect. And that's so that in itself is your boundary, that you are loved, you feel safe, and you trust your guides. And with when you say that, you create that bubble of protection.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
am. I am love. I am safe. I trust my guides and they will take good care of me. And that's all you need to do. And as long as you feel that, yeah, I figured you were I you have that energy.
Mm.
So that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. You have an agreement that I don't take into my body, but I can feel it. Yeah. So yeah, and that's because that's what's safe and comfortable for you.
Okay, and then here's the original question Farida had. So,
Okay. So how do you come to honing in on the way that you read? Like you said, I can do this and I can do that. Stillness helps. Okay. Um, So my guides, I have one particular guide that I work with that I've been working with for a long time, and they tell me all the answers. Like I don't, it's not me. I'm just the mouthpiece for them. They would show me how you how you heal or what you do. You're a healer. You are a healer. Um, that's what they keep saying it because I think that you may doubt it or you question that for yourself and they just are saying no, she needs to be reminded that she's a healer. So, and that can be just your presence, that can be just standing in joy because there's not enough of that on the planet right now. It's chaotic, it's crazy. If we can just walk in joy in this little joy bubble around us, that's huge. That in itself, if you can be calm and still, that's huge because there's not enough stillness. There's not enough quiet right now. It's very chaotic. It's very almost screechy. It's kind of like sounds like screams, um, which can be a lot if you're sensitive. So that would be the question. How do I become still? How do I find that quiet space so that we can do our job? It's really hard. It's not easy.
Have you ever heard of a?
Yeah. I figured you did. You have beautiful energy.
Yeah, she does. You ever seen anybody use a seance trumpet?
What's that? No.
Um,
Like a trumpet?
I've seen a few of them. It looks like a cone, long, skinny cone that funnels down, skinny on one end, a little fatter on the other end. Um, it's like a longer, much skinnier version of those old megaphones that
Mhm.
cheerleaders use. You know, they get a little handle and it's a big cone. They yell in one end and it, you know, makes their voice louder.
Mhm.
And it's called a seance trumpet, and they put it on the table of these seances back in the day. And if there were like several really gifted, powerful physical mediums there, the spirit could, through them, actually levitate this trumpet and then blow music through it.
That's cool.
And I'd wondered if of course, I've never seen that done, but I've read stories about it.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And wondered in your travels if you'd ever come across anything.
Well, we don't have megaphones anymore, but we have that. I mean, the my speaker system. They She just waltzed right onto that like nobody's business. Like we sit there all day long going, please speak into the my little spirit box. We like pray for one little half like crazy little blue. Oh, that's good. A seance
There we
trumpet.
go.
$80 for a seance trumpet. Dun, dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
you can buy one.
Ah,
Hopefully, it's not the same company that makes the Jesus Ouija.
we don't know. It
Yeah,
could
see?
work. You haven't
Oh,
tried
there's
that
some
yet.
cool old classic pictures there.
That
Yeah, you know
is.
who that is, don't you?
It looks like Houdini.
That is exactly who that is.
Woo!
Boom.
Bing, 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 bing.
So,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
They came up with like so much fun stuff, but after oh yeah, look at that. But after the other night where they hijacked my speaker system, that blows that all out of the water. Like I think what's happened is that we're evolving to a place where that can happen. So after she talked, I'm like, well, why am I even using the table? So I'm like, is there anybody else that want to come through the speaker? Like I just invited them to use the speaker.
If I put your feet to the fire and made you choose, besides
Yeah.
listening to your own spirit guides, which you're very good at,
Mhm.
um, what piece of equipment for what you do you really enjoy using?
I
Different
like
than what you
table.
like to use on paranormal investigations, which I'll ask you about the team here in a second.
Mhm. I like table. I like table. It's really
Table.
nice. I've just seen so much healing take place that it's very important.
That's
It's
very
a very
cool.
important tool. Yeah. Like I can use other tools, but this one has actually I've just seen some life-changing stuff happen for people. So that's what I would go with.
Well, how is the team? Mass hauntings. How are they doing?
We haven't done anything. Owen has been really busy doing other stuff. He is now getting big and going on in his own direction. So, and nothing has
He's the
come up.
actor, correct?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he gets a lot of work.
Yeah,
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 he's gonna be busy.
yeah, he is. And so I think he may outgrow it. That was,
Oh, that's too bad.
I know it, but it's
Well, there's
okay.
still there's still a good nucleus for the rest of the team. His mother,
Well, his mother's
Daniel
going to be
Groom,
doing,
and
right.
who else is there? And then Daniel's
It's
got a very
Dave.
good friend. Yeah,
Dave.
he's
So,
got
and
good
it could
things
be
going.
Dave, me, and Daniel, because I know that Myra will be busy with Owen, and she has stuff at home that needs her attention as well. So, there's that.
Um, that would be a shame because you guys work so well together. You've done
Mhm.
some amazing things. Your web series has won awards. That would
Right,
be a shame at that. Try not to let that happen. Whatever you guys can do, put
right.
you Daniel and Dave put your heads together and decide um, on.
Well, I think whatever happens, Daniel is such an amazing director that he'll make something else. He's not going to stop. He's just amazing. And so his little creative train is going to go in another direction. He'll still be winning awards because he's good. So,
okay, so now just to warn everybody, this is probably not the most politically correct picture here, but Shawn has brought it up a couple times,
oh, good.
and so here
Uh-oh.
is the religious
Oh, there you go.
Jesus Ouija
That's
board
it.
Oh,
with
Is that
some,
Jesus behind him?
That yeah, I was about to say, is that if
Hmm.
that's Jesus behind him, then I'm getting the board.
yeah.
Oh, I hope that's not Jesus.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of say that's probably not him. I think that that's the hippie that got lost,
Holy
to be honest
Spirit,
with you.
Lord.
Oh my
I
God.
like the bottom. Goodbye, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cute.
but yeah,
WWJD.
that's about the clearest picture I could find of one. So
That's good. I've never seen that. Isn't that strange?
I
Yeah.
like the it's Sean. Tell me, in your opinion, why would this have the infinity symbol on it?
Hmm.
I couldn't tell you, brother. I just
Is that a Jesus thing?
infinity, like I could be so off base here, but like
Oh, go for
in
it.
my trainings and beliefs, God always was,
Mhm.
still is, and always will be. He was before time, and will go on forever. So infinity is what that infinity, I guess. I don't know. I could be off base
Like
on why that
force from.
infinity is on the board, but I just want people to know you're not going to be talking to Jesus.
You
Well, you
might.
might be
We
talking to
don't
that
know.
guy.
No, I just know you're not
His
going to
name
be
could
I
be Jesus. We don't know. I mean,
we do not know. I have been very surprised by many things in the spiritual
okay.
realm that I can never say anything is for certain. Ever.
Okay.
So, Greta,
Okay.
what would you recommend for
Oh.
increasing the efficiency and abundance of this channel? Um, so they're showing me for you personally, they're showing me that if you can clear up some timelines for you, um, and as you do, it's nothing that you can physically do. I think it just is, it's like your onion as you're clearing away and cleansing your past. You're going to see that those narrowing of those timelines, you're going to be it's going to help you immensely. It's just all of a sudden it's going to happen. So I don't really even feel like it's anything you have to physically do. I just think it's a matter of just clearing away the stuff that you haven't maybe put forgiveness to, and that could be forgiving yourself in this lifetime or into any other that's coming up for you. Um it feels like there's just that forgiveness factor there, and um and where you could very easily forgive someone else. I don't think you're that kind to yourself. It's just harder. It's harder for us to forgive ourselves. And with that, it will all just kind of, it just magnifies and it's instantaneous. It's very quantum healing for you. So thank you.
2 weeks ago, people are still talking about you being on here a couple of weeks ago with Frank Durand.
Mm. Hmm.
That was a great episode. I like Frank, and
Yeah.
I just sent a couple of messages back and forth with Frank, and I thought about you when I was doing it because we talked about, he's a director, filmmaker, producer, and we talked about he's really into horror movies, making horror movies.
Hmm.
So, and then we talked about zombies at the end, and I remember you'd mentioned that you hate zombies.
Yeah.
Now, asked him.
Hmm.
All I said was The Last of Us thoughts, and I was surprised that he hadn't seen it. And he didn't know what it was. So I was going to recommend it to you too, because this may flip you on this. I don't know. It's called The Last of Us, and it's a
Okay.
new series on HBO Sunday nights. And we've
Writing
already
it down.
had two or three. We've already had at least two, possibly three episodes. I don't know
Hmm.
how many episodes are in season one, but it's a much different twist to the zombie genre, and it's really good. I really enjoy it. I haven't heard back. I asked him to watch it and tell me what he thought of it. I haven't heard back from him, but pretty scary. Um,
All right. I will
and
watch
I
it
enjoy
just for you.
it. You're gonna hate
Three.
it. I
All
know
right.
you're gonna hate it.
Oh,
But it's
oh, you
just
know what?
different. It's just
Okay.
much different than what you would expect
Right.
in that whole zombie kind of thing. I'm just gonna throw one word out at you:
Okay.
fungus.
All right. Great. I will watch it just to get a deeper perspective on how your brain works. I am going to watch it.
What else did I want to do? Yeah,
Oh,
that was a
wait.
great episode. I still get people all the time.
I love when Zach pops in. Oh, you know what I wanted to tell you? The book is, I want to say it's out. It's either coming out today or tomorrow. The Lady of the Dunes, Christopher Sutherland. And he's a friend on Facebook, so you could see him there. I'm also going to do a link on my Facebook, not my Facebook, my website. And so that people, if they're looking for the book, they can find that there. So
I know before
thank
we,
you.
in about 5 minutes, with about 5 minutes left to go, I know Zach wanted to come on and
Five
talk about
minutes?
something. In about 5 minutes, we will have about another. We have about 10
See?
minutes left, but in about 5 minutes, I'm going to bring him on. He wants to talk about something you two are doing. But what I wanted to ask you real quick was, and I totally had a brain fart and forgot what I was going to ask you.
You know what I love when you do energy work, when you're working with spirit, time flies. Like you get into this vortex of like, I don't know what day it is some days.
Oh, I
Like,
know what I wanted to ask you. We
yeah.
we we haven't. I haven't really, other than a couple of weeks ago when I had you on the show with Frank,
Mhm.
I didn't get a chance to ask you how your Christmas was, how your new. I did ask you about how your Christmas
Right.
was because you were on last month's Happy Meeting Monday, but we
Yeah.
haven't talked since New Year's, and I have been having a lot of people tell me some of the most interesting things, weird things they do, in addition to all the weird things I do on New Year's Eve for good luck. And my
Mhm.
guest that I had on last Friday talked about I forget now what she called it, a vision board or a
Oh,
where
yeah.
sh
Right. So
yeah,
she puts all sorts of stuff and she kind of stays focused and moves herself forward. That's cool. That is very good. I like
and
it.
I never heard of that before. Do you do how was your New Year's in the haunted house with the farting ghost?
Right. My
And,
farting ghost. Mm,
do you do any weird things and do you do resolutions?
no, I don't. I don't do resolutions. Um, it's just unnecessary pressure that I probably will not stick with because I'm very ADD. So I'm all over the place. So I just focus on what I need to do and I don't put myself through that craziness. If I need to do it, I'll do it. If I don't and I can't do it, then I need to do it. And I know it. Um, no, everything was like fine. I'm just, you know what? I'm I've going for surgery March
Oh,
1st.
that's right,
So,
that's
yeah,
right.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of gearing up for being, out of commission for a little bit.
So
So,
what Happy Meeting Monday might we not be doing because of your surgery?
well, we have one more left. We only have next month, the end of February, we'll do that. And then 2 days later, I have surgery. So,
So maybe
and
March,
then
you might not do Marches?
I will not be doing March
Okay,
and
good.
or April.
Good.
Um,
Oh, April, 2 in a row.
yeah. See, I'm having a total knee. So,
Let
yeah,
me
when
mark
they have
that
to
down.
saw bone off and put
Ouch.
pretend stuff in, it just yeah, the body doesn't like it, and so it affects my system, and so I have to, um I'll be shutting down so that I'm 100% focused on just healing myself, and I will take that time to just focus on me and get myself healed again.
Good for you. I will be
Yeah.
praying for you,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I'll
Thank you.
miss you those 2 months for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Pain stops the receptors because the pain keeps me in a human form, as it's suffering is human form. And so when I'm in pain, I can't hear my messages very well. So that's not fair for
Absolutely.
anybody else either. So I try to make sure that I want to be free of pain and ready to go.
Well, before I bring Zach on, I would like to
Mhm.
ask you. Um, this is the first Happy Meeting Monday of 2023. I know after
Oh,
the
wow,
show's over
that's
with, all
right.
these people are going to reach out to me and go, "I want the same thing." Every month I get this. I wanted to read from Susan so bad. Um, I just don't know why I don't type the questions into you. I don't know why. Um, but I'm getting overwhelmed, overwhelmed with how sad people are
Mhm.
nowadays. Any advice for people that are really sad right now before it gets too much further into the new year,
Oh,
and
thank you.
their year is just shot. Um, any little advice you can give for somebody to ground themselves a little bit spiritually and psychologically, and just you know deal with it.
Right. Well, and like I said, that suffering is very human, and it feeds off of suffering. And it's very it's very dark energy. So anything that you can do to pull yourself into the light, which is being outside, walking in nature, the resonance in nature is so beautiful, no matter what season it is. Being out in nature, you can find, if you come up with five things that are beautiful, five things that make you happy or can bring you joy, and just find the beauty in something of five things while you're walking, that helps you every step you take to get away from that pain and suffering. And what ends up happening is that you, like, I'm not free of it. I'm just not as bombarded.
Yeah.
And you've got to stop watching TV, stop listening to the news, stop listening to everything that is not necessary, and go back to center, go back to self, go back to your heart space, because that's what's most important. And we'll stop there because we're getting close and I want Zach to get a second in.
Okay.
So
He might be eating
thank
right now. We'll wait
you.
and see if he.
I am like so thankful for everybody's interaction today because it was so nice. It was beautiful.
So
Thank you,
March and
everybody.
April, she won't be here. If you whoever next month is your last chance, gang, to get your free reading from Susan. Um, you know,
Yeah.
don't send
Well,
me the questions. I think
Oh.
they send me the questions like I'm going to get the questions to you and then get back to them. Um,
We'll do it.
I'd almost be afraid of your answers anyway, Shawn.
I
With
tell
some
them,
of this stuff.
and some of my answers, yeah.
So, the first thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to go on ahead and show you guys a real quick picture. A real quick picture. There we go. Thank you. And this is my farting ghost. Okay. This is our dog. His name is Ghost, and this dog gasses me out of my office daily.
Poor
Okay, this is
Ghost.
he is a Dalmador, and
So
he,
pretty. I
oh,
love his
Dalmador,
spots on his back.
yeah,
Dalmatian Labrador.
he's Dalmatian and Labrador. So, but yeah, called a Dalmador, and his name is Ghost, and so that's our farting
Well, you
ghost.
know how you know his gas is bad? It was so bad he dropped his bone and passed out.
Oh yeah, not just
He was
one, but there's
running.
two. There's two. So, uh, I just want to take this real quick moment, and I want to thank Shawn and Susan very much because, as a lot of you guys have known, I've been putting out on this show that we're having an event on the 22nd of February about veteran suicide. It's a huge, huge problem. We're having a 22-hour podcast, and you can't see it very well, but if you look right there, it's a beautiful logo, and it is the Cape Cod Happy Medium. She
Whoa.
has sponsored this, and she's going to get an hour. She's going to be joining us and
Whoa.
talking to us, not about the mediumship, but we're going to be talking about some of her holistic healing and other things that can help out our veterans. And we're just asking everyone to please dedicate on February 22nd on the PAC channel at least 22 minutes of your time. Come on in, listen to a story or two, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to start the conversation that's going to save veteran lives. And Susan, my dear, thank you so much for helping us help others. Shawn, you're going to be on first thing in the morning. You're going to be on at 4 a.m. East, 1 Pacific, and I'm going to be on at 1 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. East, and for 22 hours. So
Woo.
unless we raise $1 million, and then I'll shut up for the day.
Oh, I am praying that happens.
So shut up
That
for
would
the
be
day.
wonderful.
That's it.
Very, very
All
cool.
right.
Looking forward to it, man.
Thank you,
It's gonna be
Zach,
Thank
for
you
letting
guys
me be a
both.
part.
It was a great show. So, but I'm going to shut up and leave now. Back to my button monkey duties.
And I am going to, you know me, I love you, I respect you, and I can't wait for next Happy Meeting Monday, which will be the last Monday of next month. And then I'm going to miss you for 2 months. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do on those two last Mondays of the. We do have five really cute cats outside living here, and we call them the Fab Five, and we finally got names for all of them, and it's just so weird how I ended up with these cats. I'm like a cat guy now when I was dog guy all my life. But listen, I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful remainder to your Monday evening. Thank you so much for spending an hour out of your busy Monday evening to hang out with the Paranormal Ministry family.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I can't
have a happy Valentine's Day. I'll be sending lots of love to you too.
thank you.
Yeah, you're
And
welcome. I'll
have
miss that.
everybody follow her www.capecodhappymedium all one word.com. Check out any events she has going on. If you're in her neck of the woods, you want to see her in person. On that note, I love you. God bless you. Have a great evening, and
Thank you.
I'll be talking to you a lot between now and then,
Yeah,
but I'll see you next the last Monday of next month.
sounds good. All
All
right,
right.
take care. Bless.
Thank you all for tuning in. I love you all. I will be here this coming Friday, February 3rd. Ira Wolfnison, demonologist, will continue her lecture series. This is lecture number 2 by Ira, and that is every first Friday. Ira Wolfnison and her lecture series. So that'll be this February 3rd. I love you all. Thank you all for being here. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. God bless you all. Peace.